we need to have the digital public infrastructure, how those things are payment are on the go. We are doing the payment transaction or digital transaction. I think this resiliency needs to be improved.
Government initiatives as well, the mandates that are coming into the picture, and the Sanchar Sathi app, which was, earlier mandatory, but now the government has announced it as optional, deletable as well. With so many things happening, with AI becoming the hero character, the central character, with ransomware 3.0 and a lot happening, in the background, what emerging threats concern you the most today as a CISO?
Okay. But since you mentioned about Sanchar Sathi, government has made it optional. But
Yes.
it is my view is saying that why make it an optional? But ideally, since we are in a democratic way, everyone will not like to do. But it is my opinion. Again, I would prefer to have it rather than become a victimized and cursing the government later that why it was not happened, why it
Right,
was
right. To
not there.
secure
So,
yourself as an individual, right?
secure yourself in a better way. So that is
Right.
my opinion again.
Hi everyone, you're watching the mainstream. I am Simran Shiwalkar, your host for today, and we are back with the latest episode of our weekly live series. Today we are joined by Mr. Mrinmoy Jana. He is a distinguished cybersecurity leader and also a chief information security officer, as well as head of information security at CareEdge Group. With over 2 decades of experience across TCS, PwC, and now CareEdge, he has been at the forefront of shaping cybersecurity strategies, driving digital trust, building future ready security frameworks for multiple sectors like manufacturing, telecom, as well as retail, and now leading the BFSI sector. Well, I'm more than excited to lead this conversation with him and also take a deep dive into his journey, his views on the evolving cybersecurity landscape, and what the future looks like for the CISOs. So, without any further ado, let's begin. Brunmoy, firstly, thank you so much for joining us today and being a part of the series.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Simran. Looking forward to the session.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Like I said, you have with 2 decades of experience across multiple sectors, and now, especially in the BFSI sector, you've also had an extensive journey with leading names like TCS, PwC, and now CareEdge. What has this journey been like? What experiences have shaped you the most as a cybersecurity leader today?
Great. Thanks, Simran. And I can say this is absolutely an amazing journey. It's full of experience. When I started my journey as a network administrator earlier, and since my more inclination towards the cybersecurity at that point of time, it was too young, and we were still dealing with the recession of early 2000s, and Y2K was the new issue during that when I passed out from my college. And somehow I got my inclination towards network, and I was very fascinated about designing the networks, how the network architecture should be, and all those things. Then slowly I gained moved towards cybersecurity. It was very new field at that point of time. And since my understanding towards the network security becomes much more evident, so why not in cybersecurity? And slowly I tried to did my certifications, various certifications from like CISA, CSSP, and others. And the type of roles I got into in TCS also helped me to help gain my experience, hands-on experience on all those things with my added certification every year, which have helped me to deliver multiple projects. Then over to my when I moved on to PwC, which helped me in consulting and thought leadership and other things. So that has also helped me a lot, how to deal with the business, how to get into the business, how to do the strategic roadmap of cybersecurity, how to do maturity assessment, and all those understanding of the business with respect to the security. That taught me once I came out or taken up multiple senior roles and throughout this journey. So it is not been a still it is a continuous learning experience only. I'm still learning on, and whenever I go on and meet many of my peers and other seniors, we continuously discuss about the various things which coming up in the evolving market. And nowadays, the new buzzword is the AI, which will I'm sure
Right.
you will definitely going to ask more questions on those. But definitely, so these are the my journey. And one thing I keep on doing and keep on emphasizing myself also, you should always try to give it to the better to the society and all whatever the journey you have been going through. So, but I'll try to see myself how it goes from here.
Superb. Thank you so much, Mrinmoy, for taking us through your journey. And thank you so much. I'm definitely going to be asking you about AI and a lot of other elements coming into the picture. Today,
Yes.
digital transformation has become a buzzword. From cloud adoption to AI models, a lot is happening in the tech space and especially in the BFSI sector as well. So, how do you think this landscape is evolving and what is going to be the picture like in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yes, definitely. Not in 2 to 3 years. In next few months only, we are seeing so much of evolution. But see, in the tech space, because BFSI sector is one of the important sector in any organization or in any sector of the country. So we have seen a large evolution as well in BFSI sector. Like you can see the UPI mode of transaction. So how
Right.
these UPI payments are happening. So we need to have some regulation around it, because nowadays what type of attacks we are seeing, because everything I related to attacks first.
Correct.
So
Correct.
so what type of attacks nowadays we are seeing with the QR type of attacks, QR based attacks. Earlier we had never thought of the QR based type of attacks are there. So we need to have the digital public infrastructure, how those things are payment are on the go, we are doing the payment transaction or digital transaction. I think this resiliency needs to be improved. Definitely their scope of improvement is there. And currently India is one of the major third largest economy as well. So and by the time it will go on in next few years, definitely these things or attacks will keep on growing with the help of AI and other things. So regulatory things also needs to be catch up. So not only the governance part, but the regulatory like RBI, SEBI and others, the regulators, they also need to catch up with their things to tighten the best practices, tighten more and more circulars, and implement those security parameters and governance towards all the things where the frauds can happen.
Right.
And now you also know the data becomes much more priority nowadays. The DPDP Act
Right.
is recently, the rules have
Right.
come up. So those things are also going to help. Though government has given us few of the 1.5 years of implementation, but the penalties are too strict on the DPDP
Correct.
laws. So I
Correct.
think those DPDP laws, rules, and how the rules have come up, but we need to see in next couple of years how these are going to be implemented in the organization, on each organization, how those things are taking place and what would be the implication. Because every since the penalties are too high, but with the penalties, it is not only the with the for the penalties. Ideally, you should be doing the right thing at the right time, right? It is not the way that you are incurring because of the penalties. You should not do it. It means it's not that way. It means it should be other way around while you are doing the
Correct.
business. And also there are cyber insurance. I think people were not aware of the cyber insurance things earlier, but nowadays many insurance companies are also providing the cyber insurance
Right. Right.
for the each citizen and other things. There are, I think recently the government has also said the Sarthi app and other things that they are making it mandatory. There are few things are definitely which are going in the right direction, definitely. And of course the cyber resiliency, cyber operational things, those things are definitely I'll see, and more and AI governance and how we are seeing the ethics and how we are going to use those data in a better way, ethically in a better way rather than doing any leakage.
Absolutely, Mrinmoy. I think data has definitely become the new currency. We are already seeing a lot of changes in terms of government initiatives as well, the mandates that are coming into the picture, and the Sanchar Sathi app, which was, earlier mandatory, but now the government has announced it as optional, deletable as well. With so many things happening, with AI becoming the hero character, the central character, with ransomware 3.0, and a lot happening, in the background, what emerging threats concern you the most today as a CISO?
Okay. But since you mentioned about Sanchar Sathi, government has made it optional. But
Yes,
it is my view is saying that why make it an optional? But ideally, since we are in a democratic way, everyone will not like to do. But it is my opinion. Again, I would prefer to have it rather than become a victimized and cursing the government later that why it was not happened. why it
Right,
was
right. To
not there.
secure
So
yourself as an individual, right?
secure yourself in a better way. So that is
Right,
my opinion. Again, I will
right,
not emphasize or do it mandate, but government also wanted to play safe probably. So they said it is up to your choice, but it's fine. So that's fine. So more and more awareness is there. So definitely people will understand the gravity of those things, and they will. You can have WhatsApp in your thing, but you didn't ask for WhatsApp Pay also, right?
right,
But
right.
since whether you use those WhatsApp Pay or not, but there are other apps is also there on your mobile, other
Absolutely.
paying apps, right?
Exactly.
So
And
they,
if I may ask, there is a big debate on the data being the concern with this app's introduction. So do you think we as a public are just hyping, or we are just overreacting, and the app
I
is
think it is
more
just an overreacting at this point of time, because
right,
I do met a few of the minister and others government bodies as well who had developed these apps and other things. Yes, there are a few things their government is still working on, but at least it is going in the right direction.
right,
I'll not say that everything is perfect, but it will also go evolve over a period of time. So people should see this in as a positive way, and then take their means don't give the feedback unnecessarily,
right.
or don't judge everything on a right in a negative way, that whatever the government says it will not work or something like that. So but coming back to your questions, that emerging cyber threats,
Right.
right? So I think there are many cyber threats like supply chain attacks, AI generated attacks, deepfake attacks. These are the main things. I think impersonation, people are getting impersonated lot many times. We have seen so many impersonation type of attacks are happening, even though you do your phishing and other simulation, but still these type of attacks still happens. And it happens due to many things. And nowadays the quantum computing is a big thing, that it will break your encryption also. So the type of, initially we used to keep 8 characters word or 14 characters the password length of the password, it will take 8 days to break. But with the AI, evolution of AI, they can break those things in a seconds, not even in months. So these type of things are happening quite fast. So the emerging trends will be a too much. I mean, many things are unthinkable nowadays. Will happen in today's world. So my approach will be to how to better these things. Can we have the zero trust architecture in place? What we talk about in many seminars as well, that you should have the zero trust architecture. Without that, you should not proceed further. No verification, no proceed. You will not get an access. Then geopolitical type. If the person is continuously moving, he should be able to tag you, so he can. And then you user behavior, what
Correct.
type of other things are there, that continuous assessment, or what type
Right.
of assessments you are taking, auditing your
Right.
identity, all those things, and how resilient is your network.
Right.
And of course, everything is not cannot be automated. You also have to keep your human in that loop, and also
Right.
ask your human. Means definitely everyone will not be. So you have to upskill your team also, where the AI will not take your jobs. So you have to upskill yourself, whatever possible. Means it is not that entry level jobs will be that some of the tasks can be automated, but still we need a human to take that decision. AI will not take all the decisions, so human will always be in the loop to take the decision. Definitely upskill the human being who is managing those things, will go and make your governance framework, AI governance framework or data governance framework, in a better way to suit your business objectives.
Absolutely. I think with a lot of human, like you suggested, there has to be some human involvement, and with a lot of certifications, upskilling and reskilling your current workforce, that could be one of the ways to tackle the current challenges when it comes to cybersecurity. So, when we talk about building digital trust today, when we talk about going completely on zero trust, what would be the next big step in your roadmap for strengthening the cybersecurity resilience at your organization perhaps, or across the ecosystem? What is your take?
Very typical
Or we can
question, and
break it
very
down,
beautiful.
we can break it down.
No, no worries, no worries. So my take would be, see, my next steps, right? You want me to respond on my next
Yes,
steps
yes.
on the vision? So in that case, see, we should always think like an adversary. Means you should think like an hacker again, because I come from the as a cyber defense perspective.
Correct.
So cyber defense should also think like an attacker, because once you think like an attacker, you will be a step ahead what the attacker might do or may do, or what type of different loopholes are there. So in our scenario, we do a red teaming exercise, we do various types of assessment deployments, we do maturity assessments, we do bug bounty type of things, so that people understand whatever the controls I have implemented, whether it is working properly or not. So
Right.
those controls, on time and time again, we have to test those controls, whether those controls are working fine. If they are not working fine, then where I am lagging. Or earlier we used to say, if we have enabled the MFA, multi-factor authentication, for each identities, everything is fine. But everything is not fine, because MFA fatigue is the new buzzword which is coming up now.
Right.
So simply thinking that I have enabled MFA for each and every identities, so I will not be attacked by any impersonation attack. So it will not happen. So no system is 100% proof. That is the first thing. And whatever the technology you implement, you can have the best of technology, but your people and process are not aligned to those technology, then again that technology will not help you. So
Right.
always everything will be a combination of all these three: people, process, and technology. You have to keep on reminding yourself, keep on doing the things again and again, simulate the things again and again, make those playbooks, update your playbooks again and again based on the latest threats, latest scenario, latest ransomware. Make your governance or ethics framework, update it. Don't make it and review it once in a year. Ideally, all the things is saying, make a document and review it once a year, but
Correct.
it should not be like that. It should be a living document, because the technology is changing very fast. Attacks are happening on day-to-day basis. So we're not sure which thing will happen at what point of time. Maybe you have simulated 100 scenarios, but the attack has happened 101 scenario, so you're not prepared for that. But once, if you're doing it regularly again and again, then what, that maturity of the people is also increasing. Now everyone is aware of cyber security threats and all those things. At least in my circle, people are aware of. But still, we can say we are long way to go, based on our current population. Still, cyber security persons are still 5 to 10% only, I believe. Means maybe plus or minus more here and there. But we have to train our people in a cross-functional things. Rather than talking about the technology things, I will be preferring more, emphasize more on people and process, to be up to the mark, because technology is anyway evolving. But
Correct.
if people and process are also evolved with the technology, then it will be a good defensing approach against any type of cybersecurity threats.
Thank you so much, Mrinmoy, for highlighting that. And before we close this conversation, from a CISO's lens again, if you had to highlight top priorities for cybersecurity leaders or for CISOs in the coming year in 2026, what would that be? And why do you think these could become critical for long-term security and maturity for any organization or for organizations coming in from any sector today?
Okay. Earlier, people used to think about CISOs as a just a technology enablement, but
Right.
I think CISOs are much more as a business. Think
Yes.
CISOs as a business enablement or
Yes.
strategic enablement, and CISOs are part of the boardrooms nowadays.
Right.
And everything needs to be, the shift in mindset is required. Earlier, we used to think always from the business perspective, but now the approach is more from the risk perspective, risk-based approach, we mean to say. And with the different types of leadership, AI and thoughtful leadership is also become evolving over the period of time. So CISOs will be much more seen in framing the roadmaps, doing the maturity assessment, understanding or training the people in the organization. Their scope is not limited to IT only. Now we have to limit ourselves, our boundary ourselves, because the
Right, because
accountability
they
and
are
roles and
wearing multiple
responsibilities,
hats.
yes, the roles and responsibilities and accountabilities keep on increasing nowadays.
Right,
Means everything what will happen, okay, CISO will do. Everything what IT audit, CISO will do. But
right,
information security is not a vertical, it is a horizontal. It
correct,
cut across multiple things. So if you understand the horizontal and vertical things, then only you will be able to protect. Means, see, my work related to cybersecurity remains the same, but on which sector I'm working. If I'm
right,
working in BFSI sector, I should think as a BFSI what all things on role regulations I'm impacting. So I will work up according to that, and I'll implement my controls based on that. Similarly, my role still is same, but if I am working on telecoms sector or a retail sector or a manufacturing sector, then the regulations is not so strict in the manufacturing
correct.
domain, but the controls are best practices remains the same. So
Remains
I
the
have to
same.
implement based on the things. See, I am not changed, but I have to change my approach
Right,
towards the, depending upon the sector and also what my organization needs are at that
Right.
point of time. See, BFSI will invest X amount in cybersecurity. You don't expect the manufacturing firm also to
Right.
invest X amount in the same thing, right? So it depends upon their organization nature of business and their risk taking ability. So if the risk taking ability capability is more, then definitely they'll invest more in the technology or people or whatever what we spoke about. So these are the few things which I believe we are still evolving, and I think the role of CISO is much more important nowadays. And I think with the DPDP coming up many times now, Chief Data Privacy Officer is also coming up.
Yes.
So many times the one person is becoming making the multiple hats as well. But these are the few couple of things I think are nowadays the AI is in the picture. The chief AI officer might also come up.
Yes.
So there are new roles which are getting developed. Ideally, these roles will be done by one person or similar to my role or maybe other. So all these the roles and definitions and responsibilities needs to be defined properly end to end, because
Correct.
there are many collaborations happening or many overlapping will be there again. So
Right.
those things need to be defined so that we should not cross the boundaries and the person should be accountable what he's doing at that point of time. So I think accountability also is the important thing, and definitely the leadership culture training and other things I think we have spoken about.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mrinmoy, for highlighting these priorities. And definitely, the year ahead looks exciting, I'm sure, for CISOs as well. And with every security leaders who would be, looking ahead for this threat landscape. So, thank you so much for sharing your insights today. But before we wrap up, I also have a couple of rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Anything that comes to your
Sure.
mind first? Are you game?
Yeah, okay, rapid fire rounds, that's fine.
All right. So, my first question to you is one cybersecurity tool or one tech tool that you cannot live without.
It is difficult to answer one tool because cybersecurity tool it is a combination of tools. So
Right.
one tool it will be very difficult to pick
Let's
up.
pick
Uh,
top three.
yeah, thanks for giving me an option. So top three definitely I'll put it as next gen XDR. Earlier it was EDR, but now it is XDR. Detection and response with zero trust architecture, if you do in that way, which gives you a complete visibility of your organization, complete end-to-end visibility, what happening and what not, and real-time threat detection and remediation as well. Because detection is one of the 50% of the things, but it should have do the remediation part as well. So detection and remediation both. So I'll not only detect but protect and respond as well as per the NIST criteria.
Great. Next, I want to understand from you, Mrunmoy, your go-to stress buster during a high severity incident.
So high severity incident, we can have a clarity of thought, because that is what we have been trained for during any type of event happens. We should not be getting panicked. And based on your experience of years of experience, you know what needs to be done at that point of time. So definitely you are not the alone who is doing the firefighting. You have a team and you have to direct the team. So clarity of thoughts and what needs to be done at that point of time. Definitely, that is one thing. So I always say to my team that जितना तुम प्रैक्टिस करोगे अभी, तो जितना पसीना तुम अभी बहाओगे तो मैदान जंग में तुम्हारा खून उतना ही कम बहेगा.
Rightly said so. And if not for cybersecurity, if not for a chief information security officer, what career space would you have chosen? Any other space that you would like to explore?
Probably since I come from the defense background, probably I would have chosen as a defense officer or a doctor. But currently I'm into cyber defense, so I'm happy where I am, and I'm protecting my country or serving my country in a civil way or whatever better way of my best ability.
Lovely. One leadership motto that you live by.
See, the motto would be money definitely compounds, but what I see is character compounds much faster. So I will always try to make your character better. So whatever I have learned, I try to share with my friends, colleagues, or who have come to me for as a mentor. So I always try to give it back to the things so that we create much and more cyber defense persons as a whole.
Absolutely. AI, biggest opportunity or biggest threat?
I think it is a double-edged sword. I will not say as a thing, but it depends on the person who is using it. So, if I'm very optimistic to say it is a very biggest opportunity
Opportunity.
because it makes your task easier.
Yeah.
and helps in a better way. So either you use it in a better way or to defense or attack. So I'll say it is a double-edged sword. It's a rest to the user who is using it.
Well, that has been a very great conversation, Mrinmoy. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your insights, and your perspectives as well. And while I wrap up, I certainly look forward to connect with you again.
Sure. Thanks, Imran.
Thank you. Thank you so
Looking
much.
forward to that.